Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred. So you guys know that in this seasons I've been playing a necromancer as well as a monk, and I've chosen the necromancer to progress towards the end game. And so I spent quite some time gearing up, finding the gear for this Legacy of Nightmare kind of theme, the LN kind of build, which I have not tried before until today. So I'd like to share where I am with the LN build necromancer. More or less there. It's a matter of just fine-tuning some of the gear if I can, and as well as augmenting the gear with the legendary gem. So that's basically the path to perhaps a GR 95, 100, or I don't know, even beyond. So just to recap for this Legacy of Nightmare season, without having to wear the pair of rings that you otherwise would have to, you get a buff you get a buff whereby every ancient you've got will increase your damage dealt by a certain percentage, as well as reduce your damage taken by a certain percentage, like 4%. So that's pretty cool. And the difference between this one and the normal one is that because now every class will have 2 extra rings for consideration, it makes some build works better than others. So some of the build become a more fun build for this season. So now in this season, I've just reached the Paragon 800, which kind of like one of the milestones to get to 800, because it will mean that every category you maxed out except the first one, then you can put all the points into just getting your primary stats up instead. So yeah, that's good news. I spent quite a fair bit of time. Let me see. I spent, let me see how much time I spent in this necromancer. So this is the hero. By the way, so I spent about 62 hours, but I think around about 50 hours I did a lot of AFK because I was waiting for my wife. I sort of like make some videos, so on and so forth. So maybe 55 to 62 hours sort of things. Record wise, I've done the solo 90 with my necromancer. Just did it under 5 minutes. So it is pretty strong with 2 gems being augmented. Not really highly augmented as well. So under 5 minute 90. So I think 95 is a possibility. 100, I don't know. Maybe I just need to augment a few more gems to push a little bit further. So I'm very positive towards the build I have, and henceforth this video to share a little bit on what I've done with this necromancer. Now to share that with you, of course, I need to talk about the gear, the build, as well as the Kanai cube, some of the stat kind of choices. But this build is very much standard. I think many of the top players on the leaderboard been chosen this build, mainly because of some of the legendary consideration you have, and the mage is the main power, main killer. I mean, the mage, singularity mage. So you spend all the resources just to get a mage out, if throughout the game you try to regenerate resources through through a lot of stuff like the Devour, and the Devour will spawn up some kind of Devour will gain essence, and the Devour has a chance to spawn kind of globe with the brace. Then the globe that you consume will also become essence. So in short, you regenerate kind of like essence through this way, or wait until the end of the day, pop it, and then you get everything frozen for a couple of seconds, 10 seconds or so, although it felt a lot shorter than that. And then you gain a lot of health globe, a lot of essence as well. So that is pretty cool. And usually when I pop the Lamb of the Dead, I will pop the simulacrum as well, basically just double up everything that you have. So that is pretty cool. With the amulet that you have, the Haunted Vision, you kind of lengthen the duration a little bit more, make your mages a little bit more powerful, and basically that is it. Blood Rush is kind of nice. I leave a corpse behind as well, just in case sometimes during the fight, when you unfortunately you get defeated, it's very hard to recover from there unless you got Lamb of the Dead to pop. So rushing a bit here and there will leave some corpse, and you can bring a weaker mage. Then hopefully the mage can kill something. The corpse will devour, become essence, and maybe hopefully there is also a hell globe that comes to give you a little bit more essence to recover from where you are. So that is why chosen that way. Bone armor is dislocation. It does stun the targets. That's number one. Number two is that it does give you the it does interact with some of the rings or options that you have to have another extra kind of like a movement control, or kind of like a negative condition, shall I say, against the target, that deal a little bit more damage as well. And also interact with one of the weapon you possibly have cube as well, to give you extra damage on the mage. So everything is really towards making the mage awesome. Passive wise, final service is a must have. Unfortunately, this is one of the most glass cannon build I ever played. I thought Wizard was kind of glass cannon, but Wizard looking back was pretty strong. The build, I can't remember what it was, a meteor build that when you hit the elite, then you gain like damage reduction. So that was pretty strong. I mean, the Witch Doctor was the strongest that I've played. But the most glass cannon kind of like a character is got to be a necromancer. But the good thing about necromancer for this build is that it clears the entire area really fast. It's really strong, you can burst even without Land of the Dead. If you have like 10 mages, you can just clear out entire thing. A lot of builds out there are more of like elite hunting kind of thing. You have to go and skip from one pack to another pack to hunt for the elite, kill the elite, then move on. But necromancer can just for this build can just clear off entire map. At least so far, that's how I played. Which I kind of find it reflection, because there are classes like the Witch Doctor you've seen in my last season, very much like just hunting from one elite pack to another. There are many like that, but there are also others whereby like necromancer, like this one here, can just capable of clearing up everything along the way as well. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty cool. Extend servitude, just make sure that your mages don't get despawned too fast, because they do despawn very fast. They only last for 6 seconds plus a little bit more time from the ring that you've got, but that's about it. So this is really important. Blood is power is cool, because every time you take some damage, or you do use blood rush, you lose health. So cumulative, once you get like 100% of your maximum life within the duration of the ability cooldown, I think that also take into consideration the damage received before the damage reduction as well. So you get 20% kind of damage reduction, the cooldown reduction, which is pretty cool, because the big damage come out from this build is Land of the Dead plus a Simulacrum as well. Both 120 seconds cooldown. So my build is around 45% cooldown reduction. I'm hoping to get to 50% after I've got the I'll talk a little bit about the gear later. But if I manage to get 50% cooldown reduction, additional 20%, we're going to shorten this whole thing down to less than 1 minute, and I think that is pretty decent, because you think about it, less than 1 minute, you've got in 1 minute's time, for 10 seconds you got Land of the Dead. You can pop like your 10 most powerful mages, and the mages will last for a couple even more seconds, another 8 seconds or so. So all in all, you are only left with another maybe 20 odd seconds that you are kind of like have to keep clearing something to get the essence back. But usually they'll spill over to another kind of like couple more seconds, or another 8 more seconds or 10 more seconds, because of all the corpse that you have laid waste onto the land. And before you knew it, then you pop another Land of the Dead, to kind of the whole cycle continue itself. So it's very, very interesting build. I enjoy it a lot, just that it's really glass cannon. That's the only thing I struggle a little bit. I guess it's going to be a trade-off, because if a build is going to be that powerful yet so durable, then then there's no brainer, right? I mean, everybody's going to play this build for hardcore, for softcore. I think hardcore, more people go into Golem build, because Golem, there's another build whereby if you have active Golem, you got 30% kind of like damage reduction. If you got a curse out there, you got 50% damage reduction. Unity ring, another 50% damage reduction. Perhaps the bracer that would every enemy you stun will give you another X amount of damage reduction. So if you play like a hardcore, of course, a lot of these things come into consideration. If you play softcore, I guess defeat doesn't really mean too much except the inconvenience or loss of opportunity to level up the dam another rank. So that is the gist of it. All right, so now this is the build itself. The gear wise is is very much pretty standard out there. I'll start with the head item first. There are two choices. One is the Leoric Crown because it gives you the the kind of give you another more damage reduction out from the white dam that you have. So that is always a good thing. The other option I've seen people using is the Andariel's Visage, also pretty decent as well because it does add the damage around the kind of like, because you do attack quite a fair bit and there's constantly there's poison over. I don't think 400% weapon damage is really that big of a deal for enemies within 10 yards. But so in the end, I don't like the Andariel Visage because it does take more fire damage, and mine is a terrible roll. The higher the worse. In this case, the lower the better. So I've been wanting to replace it. I think the Leoric Crown is good because once I have it, I have options for cube choosing other things, because previously I had the Leoric Crown as cubed in to increase my cooldown reduction, because with Land of the Dead things become a little bit easier. So I'm pretty happy with this one here, the Leoric Crown. That I think this is possibly the one that I'll just stay through it. The amulet is the Haunted Vision, like I mentioned before. It would have been nice if the damage range become a crit hit chance. I think that would be pretty ideal, but really, I mean, I'm not complaining too much. In a sense, it depends on. Yeah, I think that is possibly one of the better one that I have anyway. So now the chest item is going to be the Requiem, Serret Plate. It is again not the best kind of like attribute out there because it's plus 15% life is not really a lot. That is pretty bad kind of like attribute, but I have to roll it into a vitality anyway. So yeah, so that is one that I've got. I don't think I will have additional. Who knows? I may get better item, but I don't think this item will improve towards the end of my journey, because it's already 99% essence and life restore via the Devour. So I rather value this one a little bit more. Next stop is going to be the shoulder. The shoulder, yet another interesting discussion point. I would like to have the intelligence, vitality, the area damage as well as the cooldown reduction, because with that, then my Land of the Dead become rather nice. So right now, if you look at my cooldown reduction, it's about 44%, like I mentioned before. So I'd like to push that a little bit higher up, plus the 20%, from the passive. That would, make the Land of the Dead more often to be popped. So that is one that I'm gunning for. Now, I personally would prefer this guy instead, which is the Razeth Volition, because every time when a mage die or disappear, the Gift of Life rune works something like leave the corpse. So corpse can be devoured, have a chance to get a health globe, and have a chance to get even more essence out from it. So in a fight whereby you try to recover, you're not killing as fast, and then it's not as bad because as a mage just get despawned, you still have a chance to devour back some of this like essence and put another mage. No doubt could be weaker, but at least it's still a mage to help you take some damage, help you do some damage as well. So I would very much prefer the Razeth Volition. Also bear in mind that the Pauldrons of the Skeleton King has a proc, and I don't really know the proc chance, but I don't think it proc that often in a sense. So if it was a 50-50 chance, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll take the Pauldron of the Skeleton King, but I don't think it's 50-50. So what I'm doing right now, from a gear kind of improvement point of view, I would like to at least get the get the Razeth Volition, get the gear whereby I can have area damage as well as a cooldown reduction. I think those are pretty ideal kind of stats that I'm going for. So still a bit of improvement there. The hand item has always been the hardest one to get anything decent from it, because you need both the crit hit chance as well as the crit hit damage. That would be ideal. But the attack speed 6% is not that bad in the sense that the pet would get increased attack speed. I don't know whether there is I presume there will be kind of like diminishing return, as in you can't really stat that much attack speed onto something. I presume, because like many games they do that. So in a sense, I would say I don't know. I mean, these are things that I need to study a little bit more. But so far, my pet would then hit a little bit faster. Though I prefer the crit hit damage, but I do not think I'll get another better Tasker and Teal before the end of the season. So I'll just stay with what it is. If I got them, I'll just augment this guy. This is a Reaper's Wrap is a recipe drop from downing the Mathiel, which is the final boss of F5. It's a recipe. Now you can't reforge it into an ancient. You have to craft it into an ancient. It won't drop as well. So I have crafted 120 of this, 116 around there, 116 Reaper's Wrap. I end up have around 4 or 5 for ancient. So it's very hard to get the right attribute. Let me just tell you that, because there's so many other junks out there like life regen and things that you just don't need. I don't think this is like the best I could get, because you can get crit hit chance plus crit hit damage. That would be ideal again, but it's one of those things that I possibly would not improve until end of the season, because I would rather have the armor into the crit hit damage 50%. But I really don't think I have the patience to do Act 2 and 3 repeatedly, and try to get more ancient out from this. I may, if I'm bored, I don't know, but I'm not that bored yet. Witching Hour is another one that is kind of nice, and I think it is what it is. I think this is one of the most decent one I can get. 50% of crit hit chance, crit hit damage is most I could ask for. All right. So now pants wise, it's interesting. I actually roll a witch doctor to level 70, thanks to my wife brought me to normal rift 5 times, and that's it. You get a level 70 character quite easy, and each rift is like 2-3 minutes kind of thing. So it's a T6 rift, so it can't be that long. I was about to use the Blood Shard to exchange for a Swarmland Warder and then pass it to my necromancer to do a roll. But my friend Dupe kind of joined us with his witch doctor and said, hey, why don't we give it a try? So one try, I've got one of the items, he passed it to me, and then I used the reforge options in crafting to craft it into this guy here, Ancient. Now again, it's not the most fantastic kind of like a set of stats, because I'd rather do away with the regen life per second or armor as well, but it is what it is. So the main thing why we are looking for Swarmland Warder from a Witch Doctor pants to be used in Necromancer is because it is perhaps the only pants, I don't know if there are others, that will give you elemental damage of up to a 20%. So this is elemental and or physical damage up to 20%. So Mage does physical damage, and Mage is the main damage, kind of like a dealing kind of like a machine out there. So this one works really well with the Mage. I can feel it. I mean, when I got this item, put it in, and I can immediately see the result of it. That's really cool of it. The feat wise, this is fantastic. I love it so much, because when I use Blood Rush, which is very often with my cooldown reduction, I got to move so fast. In fact, within 10 seconds, I can pop another Blood Rush. So I constantly move at the very, very fast speed, just running around, collecting globes, avoiding kind of like damage onto me. So it is very exciting. I've never played a character or class in Diablo 3 whereby the character just moves so fast. So nice. So I love it so much. I put the them inside to augment it. It would have been better if the skeleton mage damage was like 15%. I think that would be nice. I mean, another 4% of it. like I say, I don't think I'll get another better boots by the end of the year, by the end of the season. So I'll just keep it as it is. All right. So now weapon wise, it's going to be the synth of the cycle. So that one is that your secondary skill, which by the way, secondary skills only 3 of them. Check the tooltip and on your skill bar, on your skill kind of tree setup. Skill panel, sorry, my apologies, that's no more trees. So this one, Synth of the Cycle, is fantastic. So whenever I got bone armor, which you could actually pop it quite often, every 10 seconds, because this one is half a minute, half like 1 minute half duration. So whenever you pop a mage, your mage become 364 or at least up to 400% more powerful. But they reduce the duration of your bone armor, which is fine in the sense that you try to keep up with the fact that you need to keep popping bone armor every 10 seconds or so, and try not to miss on the mobs. And then every time you summon the mage, which is not often, because you have the rhythm of every because the mage despawn based on the ring that you have. This ring that you have, it kind of sorry, not this ring, the one that I keep in where is it? All right, so this ring, so 4 seconds, you got 6 seconds, so it's a 10-second kind of the mage lasts 10 seconds. So for me, I've got rhythm. Every 2 seconds, I pump my mage so that it will always cover. I always have. Well, I try to have 10 mages within the 10-second window, means in perpetuality. Of course, it won't be that way, but it's a cycle. Every 2 seconds, I pop one up. Every 2 seconds, I pop one up. So within the duration of the bone armor, which is 10 seconds, I will have popped 5 times, and 5 times shorten the whole duration it shortened the whole duration by 20 seconds. So it's still within the 1 minute 20 second kind of thing. If you don't get too excited and pop too many of them, sometimes I do, because when you are at the land of dead, you try to make use of the simulacrum kind of buff to try to pump as many good mages or powerful mages as you can. But you could keep up with it, and it's kind of fun because it's a little bit of a risk and return as well, because bone armor require you to go a little bit into the nearer to the enemy target, and so you require a lot of movement as well. All right, so that is the one that I have, and I think 10% cooldown reduction is what I have. I don't think I'll do another better one than the one I have. So I'm happy to keep it as it is for this Synth of the Cycle. Bone Ranger is one that is a popular kind of offhand for necromancer, mainly because of the crit. I think it's a guaranteed affix, which is a crit hit chance. So with the guaranteed affixes, then you try to get one. Mine is pretty lousy. It's only 10%. 8% out of 10%. And I may go and roll one better one. I think this one has the potential to be a better one, because I don't really care about the orange tags, whether it's 25% or 30% damage bonus of the command skeletons. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't use it. But what is important to me is the crit hit chance to 10%, plus the rest of the stat, plus an ancient. I think I'm pretty cool with it. Then I can have a cooldown reduction from it. All right, so ring wise, this is going to be temporary, because you won't get to keep these 2 rings for your normal, because after you go back to normal, you need to have the pair of LN rings in order to benefit from this whole LN setup. But I mean, you have options here. You can have convention of elements. You can have the Crispin's sentence, as well as the circle of the Nalu Evo. Either one, you just pick 2 of the best and then equip it into your slot, and keep the third one into it. I think the ring wise is pretty decent. I mean, it's kind of rare, I mean, at least from my experience, to get a ring that has both the crit hit chance and crit hit damage in an ancient, right? It's easy to get a crit hit chance and crit hit damage ring. That is rather common, but have it as an ancient is where it's a little bit less common. So I'm happy with this arrangement. 5% is not too bad. So I'm happy with what we have, and also 195% is close to the top 200%. I crafted this one out, by the way. Another one is the Crispin. Crispin is yet another kind of mid-range kind of orange text, but you know, it would have been nice had it been crit hit damage and crit hit chance and crit damage. I think that would be pretty ideal, but I didn't have it. So again, it's just one of those unfortunate things. It's not one of the best kind of ring I have. And I kind of made a mistake to augment it. I think it was pretty late at night, like 2-3 p.m. I was playing Diablo 3 and I was a little bit like tipsy. Had an event somewhere with the company, and I think I popped a dam here, which I shouldn't have done it, but yeah, whatever. So that is one there. Legendary dam wise, I use Enforcer, which is basically just buff up your pet. The Zone of Vengeance, because your pet tend to hit things quite far as well, as you know, as you try to stay a little bit far as well. So it kind of works, I think. Maybe for Rathma is a little bit more consistent, because for Rathma you constantly stay behind, apply curse in front, borrow time, by the way, that's a decryptify, and borrow time rune, and you constantly stay behind, so you always have sort of like the max distance across to the mob. But then this build is a little bit like you have to dive in and out a little bit, so you need to dive in, go and do a bone armor, come back out, and then do whatever it is. So in the meanwhile, you may have a mage that's free at front line anyway. So I don't know, I'm still a little bit like not quite sure about this stone yet. Another option, of course, if I could have the Bane of the Powerful, is one of my favorite one, because it's always give you that extra percent. So yeah, so that's one. Another one that I use is the Bane of the Trap, of course, because when you pop Land of Dead, everything become like control impairing effect. So that is pretty decent. Yep. So last thing about this one is that if you have a Crispin sentence, it's pretty good, because you do have a few things that you could affect the enemy, because you can have bone armor, you can stun, you can dive in a little bit when you do a bone armor, then every mob become like a slowed as well, thanks to the Bane of the Trap kind of like dam, and you could have Land of Dead as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to triple all this damage kind of thing. So yeah, I mean that kind of all gel together. And last but not the least, the cube wise, because I always forgot talking about cube. The Relina's Shadow Hook is the one that every point of maximum essence increase your damage by 0.5%. So that is good, because your maximum kind of essence does get increased in some way. I mean, like this one here, because you do when go above, so your assets actually go into your pool as well. You can see a little icon, which is a devour icon, saying that, well, there's actually more than your reserve. So this kind of interact really well. It make your mage even more powerful, because Singularity Mage will draw down all the essence to build a mage for you. So the higher the kind of like the essence you have, the more powerful the mage is. Don't ignore that though, because it does it does give you 3% for every point of essence that you can have, so you can work out your mathematics. Even not at max, I mean even at max but not at beyond, is already 218. Imagine you have even beyond that. Is pretty phenomenal. I like I seldom use Hexing Pants of Mr. Young for the fact that it's kind of strange. It's like Traveler's Pledge, but in a way of the reverse of it, because when you move, you are dealing more damage, and when you're in standstill, you are not. So it is like a reverse of the Traveler's Pledge, but of course there's no damage reduction kind of layer to it. But because I'm realizing that you can see the last video I've got when I play this at the normal riff. No, not normal riff, sorry, the GR80, is that this character move a lot. It constantly moves. So now it's 1.2. If I move, it's 1.9. I mean, it's a pretty cool kind of thing. It's close to 2 million damage I've got when I move, and I move a lot as well. So certainly it's something that I would like to keep it for now. Now, so I was toiling in between, like whether I would have pants that wear it here or what. Another option, of course, is to have the Nemesis brace or or there's St. Andrew, sorry, is it St. Andrew? There's another, St. Gabriel, St. Andrew, I can't remember. There was another one that will give you the damage reduction when you first attacked by the enemy. So there is, let me just take a look at a quick one here. Yep, St. Actual Andrew. Actual. So this one is one option. It's a good option because every time when you get hit, you can shield for your maximum life for 10 seconds. But you know, in reality, you get one shot quite a fair bit, so you try not to get hit by elite anyway. But yeah, if not, then Nemesis is another option. That's a good option that can keep into the the whole thing here as well. So yeah, I mean there are a couple of things that you could use, but I can't want to try the Hexing Pen on Mr. Yang because, quite frankly, this character just keep moving the moment you enter into the dungeon. The only time that I'm not moving is when there's poison like everywhere, because this character is so fragile whereby the moment you step on the poison is instant death. So whenever there's a pool of poison because of it, or this poison over kind of thing, or you have all these things you need to avoid. So that is the only time when I stand still, but otherwise I keep moving. All right, so now I know it's been a long kind of like a video talking about the build and so on. I've always been very passionate when it comes to build design and so on. Now this build is not really come out by myself because I've been looking at IC Main, get inspiration, and I look into the top players in the leaderboard, and I also try different things as well, what works and what doesn't work for me. It may still evolve somehow. I may let you know if I found something cool about it. If not, then I think this is going to be the build I'm taking in as far as I can, and also helping my wife along the way as well. I think her monk is struggling quite a fair bit. She couldn't have the ancient item. I think I don't know why this season both of us are not getting the luck for good items. It's really hard. In fact, I used up all my Forgotten Soul, I think. Yeah, I mean, I was like 1, and then every time when I do a GR90, I get 25. But every time when you want to do a reforge, you take 50 of them. And then every time after you reforge, you still need to roll the affixes, another 10 or 20 of them. So you need like, quite a fair number of Forgotten Soul that I just keep depleting. And this day, I like to empower my Rift as well. So empowering costs a lot of money, 62 million, I think, at the at GR90. It's not really that much of a big deal because if you have that much gold, you just want to spend it to do something anyway. There aren't really a lot of gold sink. Rerolling items is one of them, but another one is just to keep empowering the Rift itself. So yeah, I mean that's it. And sometimes I use the puzzle ring and get the gold back somehow, some way. But yeah, I mean, all in all, that is where I am. All right, so thank you so very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying your season 17 as well. There are many build options. You could, like me, push something in, push something, a build that as far as you can. Then you get bored, and then you use another build, try out something else. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think I'll go back to Monk again, but you never know. Never say never in the world of Diablo. All right, see you next time. Bye bye.